Hello, everybody, and welcome. We've made it to the end, the last class to talk about Dragoncraft in this series. Best cards of set number 2, Reign of Bahamut, coming out in just a few weeks, September 29th. Like I said in my last video, I've really enjoyed this series, and I hope I could find more inspiration to do more informational content like this. If you have any suggestions, I'm all ears or eyes, whatever you want to say. I'm really excited to go over these next cards in this set. A lot of them benefit the discard dragon strategy, which I know a lot of you are probably excited for. So I'm ready to go right into this with the very first card. Starting things off today, a brand new card for ramping up your maximum play points, Draconic Fissure. This is a spell card that costs 5 play points and very simply reads: increase your maximum play points by 1, add 3 to your leader's health, and draw a card. All of that sounds great, right? Unfortunately, 5 play points is kind of a lot of commitment, you know? And I'm not sure that this card will immediately see play in at least maybe not all competitive dragon lists, but it's still a good card on paper, like maybe 1 or 2 of, if nothing else. Or if nothing else, it's a nice card to hit off of Wyvern Cavalier, because then you can play it for only 3 play points, which feels much better because then it's just 1 more play point more than Dragon Oracle, which feels appropriate because it's definitely a better Dragon Oracle in the benefits you get. But anyway, yeah, at 5, I'm not so convinced yet that I will definitely play it on my Dragon list, but I'm not, a super competitive player, so what would I know? The next card I want to go over is Dragonsong Flute. Dragonsong Flute is an amulet that costs only 1 play points, which is nice. First, it has an effect that triggers when it's discarded, like Trail of Light, and that is when this card is discarded from your hand, you can put a Hell Flame Dragon into your EX area. Before I go on, I want to go over Hell Flame Dragon. Hell Flame Dragon is a token follower that costs only 2 play points, has 4 attack, 3 defense, and rush. These are really good stats for a token follower. Rush, 4, 3, I'm all about it. That's very, very cheap, very cost effective, so I'm liking it. So anyway, going back to Dragonsong Flute, knowing that, I just want to make sure I give you the foundation first before we go into the rest of this card. When you play this card for 1 into your field zone, you have an optional fanfare effect to pay 3 play points and put a Hell Flame Dragon directly onto your field. So 4/3 rush, and draw a card. I almost forgot about that. So that's not at all bad. That's not a bad trade in my opinion. On top of that effect, Dragonsong Flute has a once per turn effect during overflow specifically that allows you to engage itself, discard a card from your hand, then you put another Hell Flame Dragon into your EX area. And remember, it only costs 2 to bring that bad boy up. This card reminds me a lot of Juno's Secret Laboratory in that it's an amulet that every turn helps you generate advantage or gives you options. So I really like this card for Dragon decks. Getting Hell Flame Dragon into your EX area is really nice. Again, I keep going back to the cost, but that really matters the most. So I am really excited, and Hell Flame Dragon also looks like Guillemon that pays child support, from Digimon. But anyway, moving on, Dragon Tamer, the next card on my list. It's a 2-drop follower for dragons that I'm very excited for. There's not really a lot of those. There's really just like Shape-Shifting Mage is the only really good one up to this point. Dragon Tamer is a 2-cost follower with 2 attack, 2 defense, and a fanfare effect that allows you to draw a card, then discard a card from your hand. This is a nice way to trigger some of your discard abilities like Dragonsong Flute that we just discussed, or maybe even Trail of Light, which allows you to draw a free card when it's discarded. This combo, by the way, kind of gives Dragon, its own version of Penguin Wizard from Runecraft, so I think that's kind of cute. Dragon Tamer can also evolve for only 1 play point, in which case it gets a stat boost to 3/3 and says discard a card from your hand, so you discard an additional card. Then choose a follower in your cemetery and add it to your hand. I love this effect. I think it adds such a cool element to Dragon decks, and just overall just more options for you, so the deck's not as linear as it was in the first format. You have a lot more plays. Cards that you've gone through in your cemetery now become options for you to put back into your hand, or it's another resource. So also, I just want to go back to Trail of Light. If you discard this card or discard a second Trail of Light, then I mean, yeah, this is really truly like a Penguin Wizard combo, so I love it. I'm really excited about it. There's not a whole lot to say about this next card, but that's just because it's a very simple, very simple card. But in this case, simple is very good. Wild Fang Dragonute, sorry, is a 3-cost follower that has 4 attack, 3 defense, and has an effect that says when you would play this card, if you discarded a card from your hand this turn, subtract 2 from its cost. That means if you use any of the cards, like the last 2 cards I mentioned, or Shenlong maybe at all at any point in this turn, you get to play a 4/3 follower for only 1 play point. That's really threatening, especially early in the game. I think that's going to be, imagine just, turn 3, you play Dragon Tamer, draw a card, discard a card, and then boom, you drop a 4/3 as well. That's a lot of pressure right away that your opponent's going to feel inclined to deal with. So I'm sure going to see this combo a lot going into next format, especially if you play against a dedicated discard dragon deck. Moving on. Siegfried is a 4-cost follower with 3 attack, 3 defense, and a fanfare effect that allows you to choose an enemy follower and deal 2 damage to it. Siegfried can also evolve for 1 play point. He does not get a stat buff, but it does get the evolve effect to choose an enemy follower with 3 or less health and destroy it. So I think this card is very good on paper. But I don't know, I kind of also feel like it costs 1 play point too much, or that it should at least get a small stat buff on Evolve. But I might just be power creeping, honestly, so I could be wrong. Like, in theory, you could potentially wipe out 3 weenies with this card, because you can ping one that has 2 or less health, evolve it, then you ping another with 3 or less health, and then attack into another follower, but you're likely trading Siegfried there because of his low stats. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm just wrong, and it's a good card regardless, especially against like aggro decks. I just kind of wish it cost like 3, or at least it got a buff, but I don't know. But the more I think about it, against aggro decks, I mean, if you use cards like Dragon Warrior on turn 3 or 4, and then you follow it up with cards like Siegfried, I mean, that's a lot that aggro decks probably can't deal with very well. I think that makes it a lot easier to deal with things like, your Abyss matchup or your Swordcraft matchup if you're playing against dedicated aggro decks. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm just wrong, and this card is just great, maybe I'm just a little bit nitpicky here. And finally, the beefcake of discard dragon decks, Imperial Dragoon. Imperial Dragoon is an 8-cost follower with the fanfare effect to deal damage to the enemy leader and all enemy followers equal to the number of cards in your hand. So we're talking likely 5 or 7 or maybe more damage. Maybe more damage than that. Who knows? Or 1. I mean, I don't know. You're probably not playing it at 1. But anyway, once you do that, you have to discard your entire hand. I know that sounds bad. And it's probably mostly bad. But there are cards that we just went over, that get little boosts or bonus effects, really, if they get discarded. Maybe you'll get some Hellflame Dragons out of this, or you discard Trail of Light, so you draw cards anyway. But you can evolve Imperial Dragoon for only 1 play point, and his evolve effect is just you draw 3 cards. This card is it's kind of like a deadbeat dad. He doesn't leave you with nothing, just definitely a lot less than you had before. Jeez, I'm sorry for that little bit of dark humor there. Oops. Well, anyway, this card is going to be really, I think it's probably going to be 2 or 3 of in most dragon decks that are dedicated to discarding. It's also going to get a very nice ultimate rare in the next set. Take a look at that. This is for the evolved form. Looks amazing. I really hope I pull one of these in some of my boxes. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this series. I really did myself as well. I think we'll have one more video covering up all the neutral cards in this next set that are the best in my opinion. But with that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. This is the only way I can get this little Pee-wee channel to grow. I appreciate you guys, and as always, I will see you in the next one.